As a final project for our Seasides workshop, we're going to talk about unity, and we're going to paint the Essex Shipbuilding Museum as a motif. With this idea of unity, it's an important concept for, anything in life, but in painting, for the painting to achieve a unified feel, certain things have to be done. It's a balancing act of parts, and the goal is to have the painting feel balanced, composed, unified. But the things that we employ, the things that we do to achieve this are many. Sometimes it's a matter of selecting a simple palette, or a palette that's not going to be too colorful. And it sounds maybe contrary to the idea of painting, but fewer colors will help you to achieve a sense of balance, a sense of unity in the final piece. The same may be said of a sort of repeating theme in the painting, visual theme. In this case, it may be the verticals that we see as masts, or as poles in the water, or other things like this. It may be an abundance of soft edges, which we'll see in this painting. It could be also the way that we use the media. In this case, we're creating a lot of soft edges, so we're working very wet on wet. Anyway, the goal is the long-term goal, and sort of the goal that we have, especially as we're finishing the painting, is to achieve a sense of balance of parts and an overall feeling of unity. And if you have a look, you see that I've started with a big wash to the water. This wash is made up of a warm color and a cool color, a bit of yellow ochre, followed by a mixture of ultramarine blue that's been grayed a little bit. Very gray day. In fact, this is almost a two-color painting. In the sky, I'm repeating it. You can see the wash being applied now, but as I start to create the background, I'm aware of the pattern of rooftops and surfaces that face the sky, and I'm creating this in sort of an abstract fashion. I'm leaving some whites, I'm leaving some accents to describe maybe a lot, or a rooftop, or the edge of a boat. That's how these whites end up being understood. At this stage, they just look like a pattern of left spaces. But somehow, through the magic of painting, when they're set, when we show one or two houses clearly, the rest of these little marks become understood as similar objects, or in this case, little houses or boats, or edges to other objects. You notice behind the houses, I've been putting some washes of burnt sienna and ultramarine blue. This is to create the feeling of trees, or foliage, or a dock that's below the houses. Anyway, this is the background, and in the course of a painting, this is one of the first things that we create, is the background. So it's really easy to become, how should I say, over cautious, over interested in the background, and you start to paint it as though it's a finished part of the painting, or the finished stage of the painting, which is a mistake. It's better to treat this background activity more simply. It's going to benefit the big picture in the long run. Let's call it the big picture. And it's a sort of stage. It's an important part of the painting, no doubt, but the real activity is happening now. I shouldn't say real activity, but the major part of this work is this boat called the Main, which is in the Essex boat building museum in Essex, Massachusetts. It's a wonderful place to visit because of all the visual offering. There's boats in repair, there's boats kind of tilting one way or another, there's lots of bullocks and pilings and small wharfs that run out onto the water. There's a boat builder that lives on the far shore, and all this stuff is kind of placed haphazardly, and it's visually quite enjoyable. Anyway, we're looking up this little tiny stream that leads to the ocean, and there's a couple boats there. So I've joined this big boat. This big boat is one of the more difficult shapes, and its reflection to the idea of some grass in the foreground, done with a lot of concentration on brushwork. And the water element, that first gradient that we applied, has had a time to dry, and so we're getting some nice sharp edges which contrast all those soft edges that we put into the background. And this creates the effect that this boat is much closer. And if you combine that with tonal contrast, as we have in the reflection, that sense of closeness is amplified. There's a lot of interesting stuff going on to the side, but I'm choosing to make it simple. Keep it as a few shapes, which may be boats, they may be a shack of sorts, they may be stuff left in the yard. In truth, I'm looking at the shapes and recording the shapes, but not really the details within those shapes. I'm keeping them almost as a silhouette. And this helps to keep the background simple, and in a sense, it supports this more precise activity in the foreground and midground. So everything is sort of a balancing act. It's hard to know when you're starting out exactly what to emphasize and what to say de-emphasize, what to make little of and what to make more of. The more painting you do, the more you think about your own painting and reflect on the painting of others, you'll see that there's many choices and many ways to do the same painting. And also those ways can be equally valid. So the choice becomes yours, and it's a good question to ask yourself, as you're beginning a motif. What is it that I want to say with this painting? Some artists, they even title their painting before they start to paint. This is to, for their own sake, give them a focal point, give them something to make decisions with. That sounds a little odd, but what that means is it gives you a foregone conclusion that will help you to relegate something to the background or relegate something to a quieter part of the painting. Also, it'll give you motivation to emphasize the important part of the painting that feeds into that idea, or that, in a literal sense, into the title that you've created. So you've seen the boat, that strong boat that's floating in the background, come into being. The mast and its reflection, they span the top to the bottom of the painting. And this sometimes can be a danger because it tends to divide the painting. However, in this case, we're going to use it to strengthen the painting. Let the darks that are created in this boat work to the left and to the right a little bit, and also up and down, rather than leave these darks isolated or floating in the middle of the painting. This painting has kind of, in one sense, almost finished. What I'm doing now, you see me applying some strong darks into this boat, is I'm adjusting the boat. As it dried, it paled, and I realized in looking at it that it's not giving me the statement that I wanted in the final rendition. So I realize I have to make this boat much darker, much stronger, especially in the prow as it comes forward. And in essence, this is what this painting is about, is this old boat still afloat. It's still afloat, so we can rejoice in that. And it's coming towards us. It's in the middle of our painting. I'm making an effort now to join that dark of that midship, the ship that's in the middle ground, with this dark that's coming into the main. It's a popular motif among a lot of the North Shore artists. It's just visually, each time you see it, whether it's high tide, low tide, whether the boats are kneeling over or upright as they are now, it's always a great motif. So this stage, we've placed the background, the midground, we're adjusting it, trying to unify, in one sense, these darks. You look at how I'm approaching the grass. I'm returning to the grass with some really bold marks to create, in one sense, it's creating a connection of darks from that middle area all the way to the foreground and creating an instant sort of depth in the painting. In another sense, it's making this color richer and more in line with what we've been doing through the two boats. And I think you can see how the color is harmonized, and looking back at the photo we see the basic sense of the motif, the shapes, the tonalities, even some of the edges in the background. But in the final painting, we exaggerate these, and in some cases we simplify these. The shapes have really been simplified, and they make these two boats stand out with a more prominence. And the edges, soft edges throughout the background and in parts of the foreground give us a sense of calm. So this is the final piece of the series. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you'll think about unity in regards to your own painting.